Good evening and welcome to the convening of the Gary Common Council for today, Tuesday, October the 15th. As it is our custom, we will start tonight's meeting with a prayer led by Councilman at Large Mark Spencer. Directly after that, we will proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Spencer? Good evening. Good evening. Oh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to gather. I ask you to bless my esteemed colleagues. I ask you that you will touch our administration and those in the audience here tonight and watching by way of streaming devices. Lord, please guide our hand as we promote best practices for the city of Gary, Indiana. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Brown. Councilwoman Caldwell. Councilman Halliburton.
Present.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Present.
Councilwoman Latham.
Present.
Councilman Spencer.
Present.
Councilman Washington.
Present.
Councilman Williams. President Atkins.
Present.
Madam President, there are 7 present, 2 absent.
With 7 members present and 2 absent, the Gary Common Council does in fact have a quorum to do the business of the city of Gary. Council members, before you should have the minutes for our previous meeting, which took place on October the 1st. Is there a motion to approve said minutes?
So move.
Thank you, colleagues, and thank you, Councilman Halliburton, for the second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell. Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Latham.
Yes.
Councilman Spencer.
Yes.
Councilman Washington. And President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, vote is 7-0.
With a vote of 7 yeas and 0 noes, the minutes from the October 1st meeting have been approved and ordered into the record. Council pending ordinances and resolutions.
CPO 2024-62, an ordinance reviewing a special use permit for property located at 3573, 3581 through 83, 3585, and 3595 Broadway, Gary, Indiana, to be used as an automotive sales and service business by petitioner Griselda Flores Montano, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, petitioner Griselda Flores Montano at 3595 Broadway, Gary, Indiana.
Planning and Development.
CPL 2024-63, an ordinance reviewing a special use permit for a property located at 2939 West 10th Avenue, Gary, Indiana, to be used as a home daycare by petitioner Betty Cole Cummins, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, petitioner Betty Cole Cummins, 2939 West 10th Avenue, Gary, Indiana.
Planning and Development.
CPO 2024-64, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9604, approving an ARPA spending plan out of public health and negative economic impacts category for medical debt buy-down assistance, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Ways and Means.
CPO 2024-65, an ordinance for the City of Gary, Lake County, Indiana, authorizing additional appropriations for the American Rescue Plan Act Fund 2487 for medical debt buy-down assistance under public health and negative economic impacts, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Ways and Means.
CPL 2024-66, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9604, approving an ARPA spending plan out of revenues lost category for Gary Public Transportation Corporation matching funds, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Ways and Means.
CPL 2024-67, an ordinance for the City of Gary, Lake County, Indiana, authorizing additional appropriations for the American Rescue Plan Act Fund 2487 for Gary Public Transportation Corporation under matching funds under revenue loss category, sponsored by Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Ways and Means.
CPO 2024-68, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9604, approving an ARPA spending plan out of public health and negative economic impact category, including demolition of blighted properties within the Transportation Development District, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Unassigned.
CPO 2024-69, an ordinance for the City of Gary, Lake County, Indiana, authorizing additional appropriations for the American Rescue Plan Act Fund 2487 for demolition of blighted properties within the Transportation Development District under Public Health and Negative Economic Impacts, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Unassigned.
CPO 2024-70, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9604, approving an ARPA spending plan out of public health and negative economic impacts category for a new animal shelter facility, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Ways and Means.
And CPO 2024-71, an ordinance for the City of Gary, Lake County, Indiana, authorizing additional appropriations for the American Rescue Plan Act Fund 2487 for a new animal shelter facility under Public Health and Negative Economic Impacts category, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Ways and Means.
Madam President, is pending ordinance and resolutions on first read.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilman Washington.
Thank you, Madam President. The Planning and Development Committee has before it the following ordinances for its review: CPO 2024-62 and CPO 2024-63. For the record, I approve this ordinance for the reporting out to the council. Councilwoman Vice President Lori Latham,
Yes.
Councilwoman President Ty Atkins.
Yes.
For the record, the majority of the Planning and Development has approved these ordinances for reporting out to the council. Sorry.
Thank you, Councilman Washington. Councilman Barnes-Caldwell? You got it? Okay. And if there's no objection, I will ask Councilwoman Barnes-Caldwell to accept all of the Ways and Means ordinances at one time. Seeing none, please proceed.
All right. Madam President, the Ways and Means Committee has before it several ordinances, CPO 2024-64, 2024-65, CPO 2024-66, CPO 2024-67, CPO 2024-70, and CPO 2024-71. For the record, a majority of the committee, Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilwoman Atkins?
Yes.
Madam President, a majority of the committee approves the following ordinances for reporting out.
Thank you, Councilwoman Barnes-Caldwell. Councilman Washington?
For the record, the majority of the Planning and Development Committee has approved ordinances CPO 2024-62 and CPO 2024-63.
Councilwoman Barnes-Caldwell.
Ways and Means would like to report out CPO 2024-64, 65, 66, 67, 70, and 71.
Thank you,
For reporting
Councilwoman
out.
Barnes-Caldwell. Council members, before you should have received Resolution 2024-14. I'm going to ask for your support. Is there a motion to suspend the rules to add CPR 2024-14 to the agenda for tonight for consideration?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Barnes-Caldwell. Is there a second? Thank you, Vice President Latham and Councilman Spencer for the second. I'm going to ask Madam Clerk to, we have to vote on that, correct? Okay, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
Councilman Halliburton. Councilwoman Ivy. Councilwoman Latham.
Yes.
Councilman Spencer.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, vote is 7-0.
With a vote of 7 yeas and 0 noes, the support to add CPR 2024-14 to tonight's agenda has been approved and is so ordered.
CPR 2024-14, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Gary, Indiana, to seek proposals regarding conservation measures through a guaranteed savings program contract, sponsored by Councilwoman Ty Atkins, 4th District.
Ways and Means.
Madam President, ends pending ordinances and resolutions on assignment.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilman Barnes Caldwell?
Ways and Means has before it CPR 2024-14. For the record, I approve this for reporting out. Councilman Washington? Yes. Councilwoman Atkins?
Yes.
Madam President, a majority of the committee approved CPR 2024-14 for reporting out.
Thank you, Councilman Barnes Caldwell. I guess we should report out again. Councilman Barnes Caldwell? Just,
Ways and Means would like to report out CPR 2024-14.
thank you so much. At this time, members of the council, if there's any member who has special and select, I will acknowledge those sentiments at this time. Special and select colleagues. Councilman Barnes Caldwell?
Good evening. Each year in October, advocates, survivors, and supporters recognize October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. You see, we have on purple today, so we're representing. It provides an opportunity to remember victims of domestic violence, raise awareness of what domestic violence is, and how to recognize it, and what we can all do to collectively prevent it. Understanding domestic violence. Domestic violence is a pattern of behavior used by someone to control their intimate partner. The behavior includes abusive threats and actions that may or may not be criminal. The behaviors may include physical, emotional, financial, and sexual abuse. It can happen to anyone. It looks different in every relationship, and no one experiences it in the same way. Although it may look different, there's always an underlying desire to control. When one person tries to control their intimate partner, that isn't love, it's abuse. When most people think about domestic violence, they think about physical abuse, but there are many tactics that abusive partners may use to maintain control. Emotional abuse, psychological abuse, sexual abuse, technology-assisted abuse, financial abuse, spiritual and cultural abuse, using children and pets, stalking, exerting dominance and privilege, threats, and intimidation, isolation. When we know what to look for, we are more likely to understand how to help survivors. Did you know that there are many resources available for victims and survivors, from orders of protection and addresses of confidentiality programs to financial assistance and legal advocacy? Talk to an advocate today to learn more about what's available, and make sure to share this information with a survivor in your life. You can always call 1-800-799 and the word SAFE, which is 7233, or you can text the word START to 88788. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a couple other.
You
I'm
do?
sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Please join the 5th District for our community forum tomorrow, Wednesday, October the 16th at 5:30. We'll be at the Gary Fire Station number 13, which is located 2212 West 26th Avenue. That's in the Black Oak area. Our special guests will be public safety and the precinct committeemen of the 5th District. The Gary Health Department presents a fall health fair Friday, October the 18th, and this is from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. They'll be providing health screenings, immunizations, vaccines, STD screenings, blood pressure screenings, diabetes, pregnancy tests, lead tests, free haircuts, free raffles, games, food truck vendors, and this all will take place in Marquette Park Pavilion. For more information, you can call 219-882-5565, and they are offering free transportation from 2 to 6 by the Gary Public Transportation if you show this flyer. Okay, my last one, because I am a healthcare professional, and I am a healthcare at St. John Baptist Church. We're having a healthcare ministry day. So Fall Salad Bar Fellowship, please come out and join us. This will be October the 26th at 11 a.m. at St. John Baptist Church, 2457 Massachusetts. You can see any healthcare worker for a ticket. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Barnes Caldwell. Any other colleagues, special and select? Councilman Halliburton?
Thank you, President. Veterans Day is coming shortly. The men and women of the Greater Gary AMVETS and the Second District Councilmen proudly host a grand evening with a veteran that will take place Saturday, November 9th at 4 p.m. at the AMVETS Post number 6. That's located 2060 Clark Road in Gary. We're going to be providing a dinner, music by blues artist New Orleans Bow, and we're going to be giving out gifts. Please RSVP at 219-881-1315. Veterans, you must RSVP to attend. So pass the word out. Someone asked about widows, veterans, they're allowed to come too. So pass the word out for the veterans. We're going to salute our veterans for their bravery. So pass the word out. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Halliburton. Any other member? Vice President Latham?
Thank you, Madam President. Super excited about HBCU Day at City Hall that we'll be hosting here on Tuesday, October the 22nd at 5 p.m. here at 401 Broadway. Our mayor and notable Kentucky State alumni will deliver our keynote. We have so many department heads that are HBCU alums, so I'm inviting everyone out, all of our HBCU graduates or attenders to come out and celebrate HBCU Day with us on Tuesday, October 22nd, here at City Hall. Please wear your favorite HBCU apparel as we honor Gary's strong ties to historically Black colleges. Also, just want to announce the rescheduling of our Parks and Recreation Committee and our Air Pollution Advisory Committees. I'll announce a date for our Air Pollution Advisory Committee on a different day, but Parks and Recreation will be rescheduled to the 28th at you want to do it at 5 p.m. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Any other members, special and select from the body? Okay, so I wanted to, make an announcement that the Gary Common Council will hold a special convening to do the business of the city of Gary on Tuesday, October the 29th at 5:30 p.m. Note the time from 6 p.m. It will be starting at 5:30 p.m. again on Tuesday, October the 29th. The Ways and Means Committee unfortunately scheduled a committee meeting that was scheduled for yesterday, which we know the city of Gary celebrated Mayor Hatchard Day on October the 14th, and so I take ownership for that oversight, and we did reschedule the meeting, and those ordinances that was on the agenda for review will be considered on October the 28th, which is Monday at 5:15. So we will have the park meeting. Actually, I'll do 5:30. So we'll do the park meeting, and then we will have the review for those Ways and Means ordinances that we didn't unfortunately have an opportunity to review yesterday in committee. Lastly, it's important for the council to control the narrative, and so I want to make sure that I help constituents follow how we do ordinances. And so you might have noticed that two of the ordinances that was on the agenda for tonight was not assigned Reason being is that the Gary Common Council in 2022 did in fact do a set aside of $1 million for demolition. And so we want to make sure that we combine that opportunity together. And so Mayor Melton and myself and other members of the council have had that conversation in the past. And so I just noticed that we had not taken that step yet. And so we'll work together to edit the language of the allocation as well as the appropriation. And we'll make sure to get that on the agenda for consideration at that special meeting as well. And also on behalf of Dr. Vanessa Allen McLeod, who is over the Urban League of Northwest Indiana, also serves on the Gary Community School Corporation Board as a representative for the Gary Common Council, and does triple duty as she sits on the Shared Ethics Advisory Committee, did inform the body of the Gary Common Council about this convening that will take place at the Avalon Manor in Maryville on October the 24th. And so this is the Shared Ethics Advisory Committee will be hosting their 2024 Ethics Summit. Again, will take place on the 24th of October, which is next Thursday at the Avalon. I believe it is free to attend. I'm going to make sure that I don't state that it is. Yes, so this event is open to the public, and so you can register by going to sharedethics.com. Again, it's a breakfast. I should state that it starts at 8 o'clock a.m. And then the program will in fact start after the breakfast. And so again, at the Avalon Manor, the 2024 Ethics Summit. Thank you, colleagues, for your input today on Special and Select. Next on our agenda, we will review public comment. I want to confirm, was there any ordinances that needed to do a public hearing for tonight? I'm gonna look at the administration for confirmation. For some reason, I thought that the GUA property was scheduled to do one forward to the 15th, or do I have that incorrect? We're going to push that out to November? Okay, okay. All right. So members of the public who signed up to speak, we have two. The first one is Mr. Edwards, and of course, next we have Mr. Jim Nowacki. I'll do the disclaimer. The rules of the Gary Common Council is that members of the public are allowed 2 minutes to speak. Our parliamentary Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell will keep track. We ask that you be respectful of the rules of the council and conclude your comments when the beep has sounded. Please state your name and address or residency location for the record before you speak.
Albert G. Edwards Jr., District 3. I was back to address this four-way stop sign again because of the fact that I have an 87-year-old mom, which rides with me to go to the doctor or whatever, and every time we pull out from the house, just as we get to the stop sign, someone's gonna run it. And it's just terrible. I'm in a school zone. We have kids on both sides of the corner. People just pass that stop sign like it is nothing. Day, night, afternoon, no problem. They run it. Also, I want to address, again, these doggone railroad crossings. 15th Avenue, Harrison Street. I'm surprised the church has not complained about it. I complain about it because of the fact that I crossed it also. I complain about these construction workers or these contractors who supposed to be making this money from the city. We talked about they're supposed to be finished on that school last meeting, coming soon, but what I noticed is they just came back to start working. These contractors will become in the city, they take our money and take their time. Also, while we're doing demolition, it's a place on 11th and Fillmore. Looks like a sore thumb out there. We need to get that down. It'll only take a couple of hours, I can tell, because it's already gone, but it's nasty. We need to clean up our city like we're supposed to be doing, and if we don't care, no one else cares. Also, Mr. Mayor, there's a bulletin board where Prince has out there, and it's still up there. We're talking about Broadway, and I'm changing the subject now. Broadway and Grand Street is a state highway. It's dark. What's the problem? How come we can't get that lit up? How come we can't get some more streets lit
Thank
up?
you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Nowacki?
Good evening, Madam President, members of the council. My name is Jim Nowacki. I live in the 2nd District. Under a previous administration, under the Clay administration, the city spent $4 million to build the Dusty's Restaurant on Fifth Avenue. Under the Freeman Wilson administration, the city received a grant from the Michael Bloomberg Foundation to convert the Dusty's Restaurant into the Art House. As part of the installation of the Art House at the old Dusty's Restaurant location, an additional $180,000 was received as a grant to make a specific art installation by the artist Theaster Gates, who is an internationally recognized Black artist, and his installation was completed, and for the last 6 years was a recognized art installation, internationally recognized art installation in our city. It even had, it was noted in various publications and received international recognition. So over the last couple of weeks, the vandals at the Redevelopment Commission and the vandals, part of this administration, had that $180,000 art installation by a recognized, internationally recognized Black artist, bulldozed, loaded into dump trucks, and unceremoniously dumped at a waste disposal facility. Now, I don't expect the administration or the vandals at the Redevelopment Commission to recognize art or to appreciate it, but they should appreciate $180,000. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nowacki. That concludes members of the public who signed up to speak for this evening. One second. Okay. For the record, I want to acknowledge Councilman Williams, representing the 6th District, who has joined the body. Councilman, an ordinance and resolution on third and final.
CPO 2024-46, an ordinance reviewing a petition to vacate a public way in the city of Gary located on Illinois Street, south of 15th Avenue, 1815 East 15th Avenue, for petitioner Lasta Trans Incorporated, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary.
Councilman Washington?
Thank you, Madam President. I make a motion for approval of council pending ordinance 2024-46.
Is there a second? Thank you, Councilwoman Ivy and Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell for the second. This time I'll ask for a brief overview from a member of the administration related to this ordinance number. Is anyone here to speak on behalf? Yes, no, maybe so.
Good evening. I'm Alex Kutanovsky. I represent Lasta Trans. Basically, I think that we've been in front of the committees and the Plan Commission on a few occasions. I'd like to thank Councilman Washington again for coming out to the property and taking a look at that with representatives of Lasta Trans. Basically, this is a part of Illinois Street that was never constructed. Lasta Trans is trying to get that vacated so that it can expand and operate a business at the location with some additional properties that were acquired through the Redevelopment Commission's cooperation. I'd be happy to answer any questions with regard to the operation that's intended there or the petition itself. I will note that this was published in the newspaper. It does require a public hearing for tonight. And I apologize, I didn't want to jump up.
No, when I saw you standing up, I said, I knew it. That was the public hearing.
I didn't want to interrupt at that point in time, but it does require a public hearing for for this evening. So I'll happy to answer any questions. We have counsel here for the city that has been filled in by by Attorney Molina, who's been working with us closely on this matter.
Thank you. I'll just state for the record, for refresher for the body as well as the public, this particular CPO, this petition has been in review for a number of months. I know initially the petitioner owner was very compassionate about fulfilling the request of the council to ask additional questions. Also, the site plan, I think, was a former issue of concern. They were able to submit that to the liking of the administration as well as the council and the planning commission. As I'm a member of the planning commission, it did come before the planning commission. Then we were ready to move forward in terms of a position, but there was a need to publish a notice that did not happen in the former meeting. And so that is the reason why this particular ordinance has stayed on our agenda. And we are hoping to at least take a position of the council tonight. I'm not aware of the individual who's in front of us tonight, but if you want to announce yourself to the.
Good evening, Madam President, and thank you so much. Salona Hayes, Assistant Attorney with the City of Gary. And as you stated so eloquently, this petitioner has already filed and it has been approved before the Planning Commission. The petitioner has done everything the Planning Department has asked them to do, and notice has been placed in the paper in the Tribune on October 4th, 2024 for the public hearing. And so it's been favorably recommended on February 15th, I believe, in 2024. So we're just here tonight to now he's going to allow anyone to answer or ask any questions.
So first, I'll ask my colleagues if there are any comments or concerns to discuss. Okay, seeing none, at this time, I will formally open a public hearing for or against CPO 2024-46. Is there any member of the public who is here to speak for or against? Going once, going twice. I will now officially close the public hearing portion for CPO 2024-46. There was no discussion points from my colleagues. I will ask for our clerk to proceed with the vote. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell. Yes. Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Latham.
Yes.
Councilman Spencer.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
And President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With 8 yeas and 0 noes, CPO 2024-46 has passed and is so ordered.
CPO 2024-51, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9446, approving an ARPA spending plan out of revenue loss category for employee incentive program, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Is there a motion for passage of CPO 2024-51 on third and final? Thank you, Councilwoman Barnes-Conway. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Spencer, for the second. At this time, I'll ask Controller Green for a brief overview related to CPO 2024-51.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, council members.
Good evening.
This ordinance is a desire of the administration to incentivize the city employees with the ARPA funding to recognize the services of city employees that they have provided since COVID, and to offset the consequences of the negative economic impact, such as inflation, that has been a result of the residual effects of COVID. The funding would come from the revenue loss category, and it's for an additional amount of $2,660,899.
Thank you, Controller Green. Colleagues, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
No.
Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Latham.
No.
Councilman Spencer.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 6 yes, 2 noes.
With 6 yeas and 2 noes, CPO 2024-51 passed and is so ordered.
CPO 2024-52, an ordinance for the City of Gary, Lake County, Indiana, authorizing additional appropriations for the American Rescue Plan Act, Fund 2487, for employee incentive pay, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to pass CPO 2024-52 on third and final?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Williams, for the motion, and thank you, Councilman Washington, for the second. You want to do Controller Green? Okay. Overview.
All right, thank you. This ordinance is a companion to the authorizing the plan for the addition to the original plan. This one is for the appropriations of $2,660,899. There are stipulations and a criteria. This is for the City of Gary and the redevelopment departments. You should be employed for 90 days prior to December 6, 2024 as a full-time employee. That allows for any probationary employees to be included.
Thank you.
Not to be included, I'm sorry, probationary. Also employed on December 6, 2024 when checks are paid. Attached also is a schedule. And the amended schedule also indicates that Gary Sanitary District has been removed as they have their own incentive plans at the end of the year. And we would have 205 employees that would be the max amount. The 205 is an inflated number of about 6 employees because at the time that we presented this ordinance originally, there was a time span where we could employ employees and they would be eligible at the time that the ordinance is passed. That time period has lapsed. So any employees at this time that are new will not be able to take advantage because they will still be in probation. Animal control, EMS, police and fire departments all would receive $5,000 and the civil employees $2,800. With the PERF at 14.2% for civilians and 19% for public safety, FICA at 7.65% for the civilian and 1.25% for public safety, unemployment and workers' comp at 4.25%, totals to $2,660,898.80. Any questions?
Thank you, Controller Green.
Okay.
Colleagues, any comments, questions? Vice President Latham?
Thank you, Ms. Green. Just making sure, I know we had talked about residency before. I had asked a question about residency before. Is the incentive going to both residents and non-residents?
Yes.
All employees?
There was no differentiation when this was done for a resident.
So is there any idea of I think you said 205?
I believe that was a question for the Human Resource Department, and I'm not sure what that number is.
Like how many out of that number are actual residents?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Vice President Latham, is the question is out of the public safety? Just out of the public safety?
Okay.
So I do know that I need to look at that breakdown because I know the chart that we have, it breaks out public safety, versus the civic staff of the City of Gary. And typically the split is 70-30. I don't know if that's still consistent, but it has been 70% of public safety individuals are non-residents and 30% are in fact residents of the city. That has been the trend over the last couple of years, but I haven't got the numbers for 2024. But
Thank you, that helps. Thank you.
Mayor Melton?
Thank you, Madam President. I want to thank Controller Green for her hard work and our administration. It was the goal coming into office that we try to acknowledge the hard work of the men and women that work for the City of Gary across the board as we work to negotiate labor contract agreements with various unions that work here. And as we continue to have those conversations, I want to thank them all for participating in that. But I use, for example, police and fire. which will be receiving, if this were to pass, the $5,000. We are living in a period where individuals from the city of Gary are being poached from other communities to work for their police and fire departments. We know that they are well-trained, well-experienced, and this is a token of appreciation for their hard work to continue, but also knowing that with our limited man and woman power, that they are working double time, all right, in overtime in this taxing. So we want to commend them, but also for the civilian workers as well that have stepped up, that we've seen some tremendous growth in a variety of areas in just our first 10 months. So knowing that the city does not have the ability to give an overall pay increase, we wanted to acknowledge the hard work and incentivize that continued momentum. So I thank City LaGrange, Controller, and our administration for collaborating and working on that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for those comments. I have a request and want to confirm with our clerk. The chart that corresponds with the breakdown of the total appropriation, I don't think that it was included in the submission to the clerk. Do you have it attached to that ordinance? Can we make sure that that is attached to it? I always think about the public, and if the public, asks for a copy of the ordinance and wanted to see what the breakdown was, we just want to make sure that we attach something. It doesn't have to be that. All right. It's on 53? Okay. So it's on 53?
52.
It's on 52. But is the chart on 53? The chart is attached to 53 or no? 51. So the chart wasn't on 51, right? Because 52 is the appropriation. So I don't have that in my packet. It was attached to yours? Let me see. Mm-mm. No. So, 52, the chart attached to yours? I don't have the amendment in my packet. Okay, so there was an amendment to the ordinance.
Yes, and we can go ahead because the chart that you see, there are actually two, the original one and the revised one. And if it is approved tonight, then we'll take the original one out and only submit the revised one.
Okay.
Okay.
So there was an amendment on 52. Was there an amendment on 51?
There should be no amendment on 51.
Okay. Is there a motion to amend by substitution CPO 2024-52? Thank you, Councilman Washington. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Spencer and Councilman Williams for the second. I'm not sure what the amendment was. So can you give us, what was the amendment?
Yes, so originally, Gary Sanitary District was included.
Okay.
And we removed Gary Sanitary District's employees, which was 124. And the difference between the amount for Gary Sanitary District, for removing them, we added it to the civilian employees for the city.
Thank you.
So the bottom line didn't change. Okay.
So unfortunately, I do not have the right in my packet, and so I am going to ask our staff to make sure that I have the right information in the packet. So there was an amendment to 52. There was not an amendment to 51. Okay. I'm going to ask for clerk, Madam Clerk to give us a roll call for the vote on the amendment. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell. Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Latham.
Yes.
Councilman Spencer.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8 yeas and 0 noes, the amendment for CPO 2024-52 has passed and is so ordered. Is there any discussion further, colleagues, on CPO 2024-52 in its entirety? Yes, Madam Vice President.
Thank you. I just feel like I should explain my vote. I do plan to vote no on this, but I just don't want the perception that I don't believe in investing in employees, particularly police and fire. I actually sat in on a workshop last week entitled Investing in Public Safety Facilities, a Critical Priority for Indiana Communities. And when I think about investing in public safety, especially, looking at $2.6 million in a lump sum and thinking about where our current public safety professionals are working out of an old, formerly abandoned hospital without fitness facilities. We talk a lot about investing in the mental health of our public safety officials. The cost on average, national average, to construct a new station is $190 to $250 per square foot on average. So anything under about 20,000 square feet ranges from about 5 to 10 million. Over 40,000 square feet could go anywhere up to about 20 million. So when I look at 2.6, I think about where that could go toward new facilities. And when I think about investing in public safety, and I know the mayor has this on his mind as well, so I don't want to present like we're not on the same page about this. I know our administration is working every day trying to figure out how to solve some of these problems as well. But the 2.6 to me represents merely a tip toward our city employees, towards our public safety officials. I don't think of it as an investment at all, but instead just a tip, essentially. Also, a sticking point for me is just the residency. I think that a lot of our ARPA money should go toward things that will eventually increase our assessed valuation. And while I do believe in putting money in people's pockets, I just think that spending this money this way first maybe should have been different. And again, I think my comments at the last Ways and Means Committee meeting was that, the folks receiving this money are still of working age. And I understand inflation, I understand the cost of living increases. However, even for me, because I am middle-aged and able-bodied, if I need more money to survive this economy, I can't go get another job, even if it's at McDonald's or Target or Starbucks, where I would actually like to work. Target or Ross are some of my favorite places to be. So they seem like fun places to work too. But, our children and our seniors who are not of working age, what are we doing to make sure that they're also able to invest in, or that they're also able to survive this economy? So I just want the public to know. I want the administration and our mayor to know also that this is something that I've thought about, that I'm making a conscious decision about, not just to be disagreeable, but instead because I just believe that this could be done differently. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Any other members of the body, additional comments, questions? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
No.
Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Latham.
No.
Councilman Spencer.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 6 yes, 2 noes.
With a vote of 6 yeas and 2 noes, CPO 2024-52 as amended has passed and is so ordered.
Thank you.
CPO 2024-53, An ordinance appropriating monies for the purpose of defraying expenses of the Gary-Chicago Airport Authority of the City of Gary, Indiana, for the fiscal year beginning January the 1st, 2025, ending December 31st, 2025, including all outstanding claims and obligations, and fixing the time the same shall take effect. Sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Is there a motion to pass CPO 2024-53 on third and final?
So move.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Latham, for the second. This time, I will ask for an overview, if there is someone here, the administration, from the airport to
Hello, I am Commissioner Millicent Macon from the Gary-Chicago International Airport Authority. I am happy to answer any remaining questions you all may have on the matter in front of you.
So, with all due respect, Commissioner, I'm going to ask you this. Could you give an overview of the budget?
I do not have the budget in front of you, but I do believe that the Executive Director, Mr. Vicari, and our Board Chairman, Pete Visklosky, have been in front of this board 4 times and have presented our budget multiple times and have done our best to answer any and all questions that this council has presented.
So let me correct you. They have not been in front of this body 4 times because they did not come, at least twice. Mr. Vicari did in fact come to the council meeting, committee meeting that I did have last week, but I just want to give you the facts so that you can have the right information. I know in fact that you were not at those meetings. When we are moving for passage, it is important for a senior leader of that entity to be here in front of the board. And I'm surprised that Mr. Vicari, usually he would communicate with me if in fact that he could not make it, and I felt bad that he wasted time, for lack of a better phrase, last week coming to the committee. He did in fact make arrangements to do that, but this is for vote. So I appreciate your attendance here tonight, and I would urge you to take those sentiments back to Mr. Vicari as well as the chair.
So you're stating that at no point during the, as I understand, 4 times that either Ms. Vicari or Mr. Visklosky came before you, they did not present the 2025 budget to this council?
So first of all, Commissioner, you have to be acknowledged by the chair before you engage. And maybe I should explain that I think this happened before a couple of months ago. That's just the protocol of the council. Okay, so I would ask for that respect. And then secondly, that's not what I stated. What I stated was they were not in before us 4 times, which is the number and figure that you gave in the beginning of your commentary. That's not correct. They have, in fact, presented in detail to us, no, for a fact, once, and then we have had 2 committee hearings. And I just stated as well that Mr. Vicari did, in fact, come to that committee meeting last week. And unfortunately, members of this body did not attend that meeting. I, in fact, was here. And also, for the record, I stated that you might have known those facts because you were not in attendance of any of those meetings. But I was, of course, at all of those meetings. And so that is, in fact, what my commentary stated. So at this time, there is a motion on the floor. It has been properly seconded. I will ask any of my colleagues if they have any discussions. And for the record, we have already had a public hearing for this budget as well. Okay.
Madam President.
Councilman Washington.
Commissioner, it was something that I asked Chairman Visklosky and Mr. Vicari regarding a $54,000 increase. Mr. Visklosky said it was approved by the Board of Commissioners. Were you a part of that vote?
So, to be clear, There was never a $54,000 increase in Mr. Vicari's salary at any point at his time as an employee of the airport. And personnel matters such as salaries are discussed in executive session, which are privileged, at which time those decisions are made, and then the budgets are passed, obviously, in open public hearing.
So as of today, what is Mr. Vicari's salary?
As of today, Mr. Vicari's salary is, excuse me, hold on. I'm a little mixed up here.
I just want to, while you're looking for that information, just for the record, I do not believe the commissioner just stated that the salary was discussed in executive session. I do not believe that that's in fact one of the allowable discussion points, is it?
It's a personnel matter.
For an executive session based on Indiana state statute.
So can she give me what he's making now?
Sure. Can you repeat the question, Councilman Washington?
His current salary is $218,000, $119.98.
So when he started at 170. So what happened that what did the increase come from to 218?
He did not start at 170. Mr. Vicari was hired in December 2021, and he began working in January 2022 at a salary of $205,000.
Well, that's not the information that I got from Chairman Biskowski. It said his salary was at 170 at one point in time.
The communications that I have that include the entire board, including yourself, detail all of that out, including the budgets that were approved that detail his salary at that level.
Councilman Washington, do you have any additional questions?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do my colleagues have any commentary? Councilwoman Ivy.
Hi, good evening. I heard you say that you were the commissioner, but could you repeat your name? I haven't met you before.
Millicent Macon.
Okay, thanks.
So I want to first, I do appreciate your efforts here tonight. I want to say that, and thank you for serving as a member of the board. Personally, I have a great relationship. I think there's a great relationship with Mr. Vicari. I'm going to be transparent about that. However, I'm extremely taken aback that he is not here to get the vote on his budget. I feel disrespected. And I feel that the council should feel disrespected as well to not be here for the vote of your budget. That is unheard of. I appreciate your efforts again, but I'm disappointed in that. I'm disappointed in that. So even, I think some of the questions, and granted, I want to be transparent, he did in fact come to address those concerns of the council, and the council did not show up last week to that committee hearing. But this is a convening of the Gary Common Council in which we vote, which is very important. And so I think that I can't even get my words together. I'm shaking. I'm shaking. So personally, I feel disrespected. As a member of this body, I feel disrespected. As someone who respects the operation of the Gary Chicago, let me be clear, International Airport, I think that it is unheard of that representation, ample representation is not here tonight. And so I am going to cut the commentary and move forward in our program so that we can address the additional pressing issues that we have for the city of Gary. Again, I appreciate your attempt, Commissioner, and we will move forward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
No.
Councilman Halliburton.
No.
Councilwoman Ivy.
No.
Councilwoman Latham.
No.
Councilman Spencer.
No.
Councilman Washington.
May I give my vote and make a quick comment?
Not in the middle of the vote. You can make your
Okay,
comment
I
after we
respect
finish.
that, Madam Chair. No.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
President Atkins.
No.
Madam President, the vote is 1 yes, 7 noes.
With a vote of 1 yes and 7 noes, CPO 2024-53 fails to pass and is not ordered. Councilman Washington.
Yes. Going back to the pay increase that the administration approved for workers who had not seen a pay increase in years. One of the reasons why I voted for that increase is because there have been people working in those positions for years and had not seen an increase. The administration had came to us with their choice of administrators, and we allowed those individuals to have certain salaries. But also when it comes to the Gary Airport, I have to speak personally and as a taxpayer, because when I asked the question on what merits does the airport have to increase Mr. Bakari's salary, because what we were provided with was an increased salary of $224,000. And when I say merits, I'm talking about since he's been the head of the Gary Airport, what increases have we seen? What production have we seen at the Gary Airport? We haven't seen anything. Without the council's knowing the Gary Airport, and I'm gonna talk about the board members too, who approved to buy a Griffith Airport, that we have yet to see what the benefits of that is. And when I, as a taxpayer and a Gary resident, asked a question about the merits of the increase, I got badgered by Mr. Visklowski on how I had the nerve to ask a question regarding my taxpayers' dollars. And as a member of this council and has to approve a levy, why am I asking questions? I'm asking questions because, for instance, I think the executive director for the Midway Airport and O'Hare Airport makes maybe about $283,000, maybe $290,000, and I don't see a fourth of the passenger. We don't even have passenger service in Gary, Indiana. Mr. Bakari makes more than a governor for the state of Indiana. As a matter of fact, he makes more than most governors in the United States, with the exception of New York, who makes $250. So my time on the council, and I can't speak for any other person, we don't have passenger service at all. We can't compare ourselves to South Bend, Fort Wayne, especially not Indianapolis. And the attitude of one of the commissioners to come here and the disrespect of the chairman and Mr. Bakari not to show up to answer any questions. I personally believe that every board member that supports this increase should resign off of the Gary Airport Board. I know other things, but I won't bring that out. I just don't like the disrespect, and I don't like the fact that some time ago, it was Mr. Bakari who brought us information and touted the fact that he hires a lot of African-American workers. Thank you. But then one of the councilmen said, that's nice, but those African-American workers, what is the background? What are the jobs? What is the salaries? And that's why we got that sheet that shows between Mr. Bakari's salary, which was proposed at $224,000, and then the airport director, which is at $107,000, $114,000 difference. Then everybody think the financial person made $88,000, then the next person made $77,000, and you want to propose $224,000 for no passenger service, shame on you, Mr. Visklowski, for not showing up as you so eloquently placed in the email that you were appointed by the governor of the state of Indiana. Congratulations, but that still doesn't show us that we've had no passenger service since you've been the chairman. And to Mr. Bakari, who at least should have been here and not send one of his commissioners, you should have been here to answer the questions yourself. It is a total disrespect, and any chairperson from Lake County to Porter County to the 4 appointees that the mayor appoints, if you believe that his service and we have made improvements at the Gary Airport, I would encourage you to resign because we haven't had any passenger service. So again, I speak for myself. If there are any comments, Mr. Visklowski, Mr. Vicari, you are welcome to call me and talk. But at the end of the day, we can play word salad. We can do all of that. That's fine, because I hear it a lot. We have a presidential election coming up. But at the end of the day, the merits show that there is no reason for a $150,000 disparity or a disparity between the airport director and the executive director when we don't even have passenger service. There shouldn't be a discuss of an increase at all until we get passenger service. And the disparity of the executive director from the rest of the employees is in fact shameful and is disrespectful to the residents of this city. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And thank you, Councilman Washington. Any other members? Okay. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
CPO 2024-55, an ordinance appropriating monies for the purpose of defraying the expenses of the Gary Redevelopment Authority of the City of Gary, Indiana for the fiscal year beginning January the 1st, 2025, ending December 31st, 2025, including all outstanding claims and obligations, and fixing the time the same shall take effect. Sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to postpone CPO 2024-55 to the special meeting of the Gary Common Council Tuesday, October the 29th? Thank you, colleagues, for the, thank you. It's been moved and properly second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell. Yes. Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Latham.
Yes.
Councilman Spencer.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, vote is 8-0.
With 8 yeas and 0 no's, CPO 2024-55 has been postponed to the October 29th meeting of the Gary Common Council.
CPO 2024-56, an ordinance approving salaries of employees of the City of Gary's General Parks, Police, and Fire Lloyd seated MVH, Police Pension, and Fire Pension Tax Base Funds for the calendar year 2025. Sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to refer CPO 2024-56 back to the Ways and Means Committee with the committee hearing set for Monday, October the 28th at 5:30 p.m.? Thank you, Councilwoman Barnes-Caldwell. Is there a second? Thank you, Councilwoman Ivy, for the second. I'm not going to take any discussion, so roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell. Yes. Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Latham.
Yes.
Councilman Spencer.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8 yeas and 0 no's, CPO 2024-56 has been referred back to the Ways and Means Committee with the committee hearing set for Monday, October the 28th at 5:30 p.m.
CPO 2024-57, an ordinance appropriating monies for the purpose of defraying expenses of the General Parks, Police, and Fire Lit Seated CCL, CCD, MVH, LRS, Riverboat Casino, LDA, Fire Pension and Police Pension Tax Base Funds of the City of Gary, Indiana for the fiscal year beginning January the 1st, 2025, and ending December 31st, 2025, including all outstanding claims and obligations, and fixing a time and same shall take effect. Sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to refer CPO 2024-57 back to the Ways and Means Committee with the committee hearing set for Monday, October the 28th at 5:30 p.m.? Thank you, Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell. Is there a second? Thank you, Councilwoman Ivy, for the second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell. Yes. Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Latham.
Yes.
Councilman Spencer. Councilman Washington. Yes. Councilman Williams.
Yes.
President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8 yeas and 0 noes, CPO 2024-57 has been referred back to the Ways and Means Committee with the committee hearing set again for Monday, October the 28th at 5:30 p.m. here in the council chambers.
CPL 2024-61, an ordinance requesting to amend Ordinance 9703 to transfer appropriations for Gary Police equipment and improvements, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salita Green, City Controller, and the Gary Police Department.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to pass CPO 2024-61 on third and final?
So moved.
Thank you, Vice President Latham. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, my colleagues to the right, for the second. At this time, I'll ask Chief Derek Cannon to give us a brief overview related to CPO 2024-61.
Thank you, Madam President and common council members. I appreciate it. First, I want to take accountability. This ordinance originally came before the council some months ago, and there were just some issues with some of the technical stuff as far as where the line items would be. It was kind of explained in the committee meeting last week, and then there was an email sent out just to kind of clarify what we needed. But under one part of the donation, when you split it up for $105,574, for our rifle vaults, these singular items cost less than $5,000, and so they were put under other materials. For the other items that were selected for this donation would be for police signage, and also the outfitting of animal control vehicles will come to the amount of $156,432, and that will be put under machinery and equipment. And so this was a technical error on my part, and I'll take accountability for that, and now it's before you for passage.
Thank you for that accountability, Chief. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Colleagues, any questions or discussions? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Latham.
Yes.
Councilman Spencer.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
And President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
The vote of 8 yeas and 0 noes, CPO 2024-61 has passed and is so ordered.
Thank you.
CPR 2024-11, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Gary providing for a hearing and a public comment on the transfer sale of certain properties formerly owned by the GUEA, sponsored by Christopher Harris, Department of Redevelopment.
Councilman Washington?
Yes. I'll make a motion to defer to the November 6th meeting. Second. 2024-11, right?
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't think that I've rescheduled that meeting yet.
That's why I was going to make the motion to actually move the meeting to, do we need to, that's what.
Let me get the right order. Yes, okay. Okay, so we could go ahead and schedule it for the 6th, and then we'll, at the end of third and final, I'll make the motion for us to reschedule that
So,
meeting.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to defer CPR 2024-11 to the November 6th meeting that will take place at 6:00 p.m.
Thank you, Councilman Washington, for the motion. Is there a second? Thank you, Councilman Barnes Caldwell, for the second. I would ask the administration, it's just related to GUA properties. There was a request submitted in writing today. If you all could just, okay, cool. You got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Madam President, just really quick, I want to make a mention as well. The intention is to address these more holistically versus in pockets. So I want to make sure that the body knows that we are striving to work with the Attorney General's office on these parcels, but also to develop a holistic plan for the GUA site. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that, but we are going to provide you that information as soon as we get access to it.
Thank you, Mayor. And just for point two, Mayor, this came up in a previous meeting. I don't think it was the public meeting. Maybe it was, or it was a committee meeting where we had the discussion with Attorney Jenkins as well as your executive director. Just if we could work our internal process a little bit better so that you could get council approval beforehand.
Right. I think there was an issue one before the other, like figuring out where to start. So I think we have a better clarity on what the language says. So I'm sure we can work together and move it forward.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Where am I at? Okay. So the motion is for us to refer this to, or postpone it to the rescheduled meeting that will take place on Wednesday, November the 6th at 6 p.m. It has been moved and properly second. We just had discussion. I'll ask for a roll call at this time. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Halliburton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Latham?
Yes.
Councilman Spencer?
Yes.
Councilman Washington? Yes. Councilman Williams?
Yes.
President Atkins?
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8 yeas and 0 noes, CPR 2024-11 has been referred to the Wednesday, November the 6th meeting of the Gary Common Council.
CPO 2024-12, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Gary, Indiana, granting waivers of noncompliance pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1.1-12.1-11.3 with respect to excess valuation deductions, tax abatement for depreciable personal property of Alliance Steel Corporation, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller Christopher Harris, Executive Director, Department of Redevelopment.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilman Washington?
I make a motion to defer CPR 2024-12 to the Planning and Development Committee. That Planning and Development Committee meeting scheduled for Monday, November 4th at 5:30 p.m. with a public hearing set for Wednesday, November 6th at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Councilman Washington. It's been moved and properly second. Thank you, Councilman Barnes-Conwell, for the second. Is there any discussion, colleagues? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell? Yes. Councilman Halliburton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy? Yes. Councilwoman Latham?
Yes.
Councilman Spencer?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
President Atkins?
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8 yeas and 0 noes, CPR 2024-12 has been referred back to the Planning and Development Committee with the committee hearing set for Monday, November the 4th at 5:30 p.m. and a public hearing set for Wednesday, November the 6th at 6 p.m., both here in the council chamber.
CPR 2024-13, a resolution regarding Summer Youth Employment Coordinator, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Is there a motion to lay CPR 2024-13 on the table?
So moved.
Thank you, Vice President Latham. Is there a second? Thank you, Councilman Williams, as well as Councilman Halliburton for the second. The motion to lay on the table, there's no discussion. This time I'll move for vote. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell? Yes. Councilman Halliburton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Latham?
Yes.
Councilman Spencer?
Yes.
Councilman Washington? Yes. Councilman Williams?
Yes.
And President Atkins?
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8 yeas and 0 noes, CPR 2024-13 has been laid on the table.
Madam President, as pending ordinance and resolutions on third and final.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Council pending ordinances and resolutions on second reading. Oh, yeah. Okay. Is there a motion to reschedule or move the November the 2nd, no, November 5th? the November 5th meeting to Wednesday, November the 6th, in observance of Election Day that will take place on Tuesday, November the 5th. Is there a motion for that?
So move.
Thank you, colleagues, for the motion. Is there a second? Thank you for the chorus of seconds. I just stated the reason why, and I just asked for a roll call at this time. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell. Yes. Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy. Councilwoman Latham.
Yes.
Councilman Spencer.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8 yeas and 0 noes, the meeting for November the 5th has been rescheduled to Wednesday, November the 6th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. Colleagues, is there a motion to suspend the rules to consider CPR 2024-14 on all 3 readings tonight? Thank you, Councilman Washington. Is there a second? Thank you for the second. Let me state this. If in fact we need to have discussion in a committee to make sure everybody understands, I have no problem asking for us to recant that motion, and we can actually have the committee meeting on the 28th. So then we can still vote for it on the 29th. I just didn't want to delay the effort if in fact the body is in support of this any longer. So if that is the preference of this body, we can do that if you all want to have a discussion about it to make sure that we thoroughly understand. We're good? Okay. You need discussion? You do? Okay. You want me to set a meeting to discuss it? Okay, Councilwoman want the discussion, no problem. So I'm going to ask for, I think Councilman Washington made the motion. If you could rescind your motion to consider on all 3 readings.
No, I rescind my motion.
Thank you. So I will ask that we just keep it. Yes. Are you sure? I can give an overview tonight, briefly, that can be supportive. Okay. Councilman Washington, can you put the motion back on the floor, please? Sir.
You say what now?
Can you put the motion back on the floor?
I'll put the motion back on the floor.
Thank you, Councilman Washington. And we have already been seconded. We had a second. Thank you, Councilman Barnes-Conway, for the second. So this is the motion for us to suspend the rules to consider on all 3 readings. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell. Yes. Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy. Councilwoman Latham.
Yes.
Councilman Spencer.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8 yeas and 0 noes, CPR 2024-14 has been approved to be considered on all 3 readings for tonight. I'll ask the clerk to read the title of the resolution.
CPR 2024-14, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Gary, Indiana, to seek proposals regarding conservation measure through a guaranteed savings program contract, sponsored by Councilwoman Ty Atkins, 4th District.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to pass CPR 2024-14 on all 3 readings? Thank you, Councilman Barnes-Conway. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Latham, for the second. I'll do the overview, and I'll ask my colleague Mayor Melton to chime in if, in fact, I'm missing the mark. Okay, so this is, first of all, I'll start, colleagues. Over the summer, the Melton administration had sent a request for the Gary Common Council to consider supporting the execution of what do you call that? The research and navigation to do a guaranteed savings program contract based on Indiana State Code 36-1-12.5. It gives the authority for a political subdivision, which in this case is the municipality of the City of Gary, to enter into a guaranteed savings contract. the governing body of said political subdivision is the body that has the authority to actually start the RFP process and to navigate the evaluation process. In that particular code, the governing body for legislative branch is listed as the legislative branch of government for the political subdivision, which is the city of Gary. And so within this particular resolution, I'll read some of the context. And so a guaranteed savings contract, it is referred to as the contract in this resolution, is in fact when the qualified provider enters into an agreement with the governing body, which in this case will be the Gary Common Council, to do the following: evaluate and recommend to the governing body conservation measures, and to provide for the implementation of at least one of those measures. But of course, we're looking for a comprehensive plan from a provider that will give us multitude of savings where it relates to energy savings is it just this public safety building, or we will ask for them to provide us in the RFP, right? It's just City Hall, correct?
Well, we're going to look at all of our facilities.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity for this provider in their proposal to do an assessment of all facilities and provide us with their best plan to attack that. In the code, it also states that this is an opportunity for us to use the reduction in those efforts to pay for the particular provider's assessment, right? And so what that means is that this is not, if in fact we are successful in this effort, this will not put additional debt on the city. You will be literally utilizing the amount of money that you would have paid for said utilities anyway to pay for the execution of these conservation efforts. And so this particular resolution just provides steps for us to initiate that process. In the resolution, it does ask for the Board of Public Works to prepare the notice, which is required by the code to ensure that it is published in accordance with state law as a notice for us to say that we're ready to start receiving proposals. I have asked in the resolution that the proposals be opened in a public meeting of the Gary Common Council. Again, forever to have transparency of government, and because of the fact that the legislative branch is the entity to do that. And then we will also, once a criteria is created in terms of how to evaluate said proposals, the administration will enact that particular contract with whoever the provider is that is chosen. So again, the details in terms of the process is listed specifically in Indiana Code 36-1-12.5. And this will allow us an opportunity to execute a good project to conserve some energy for the city of Gary. Is there any questions? Yes, Madam Vice President.
Thank you, Madam President. Just one comment, I guess, when we write the RFP, just making sure that the RFP is written with a specific scope, but also broad enough that we'll receive more than one response. I think what happens, what I have seen in other communities, even with guaranteed savings, is that the RFP is written in such a way where only a small number of respondents qualify or even feel like it's worth responding to. So, I know we had entertained or the previous administration had entertained a guaranteed savings contract from another vendor before. I would like to see us get proposals from more than one or even more than a few vendors to make sure that we have a number of options. And the only way to do that is making sure that the RFP is written properly.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. I just wanted to chime in on that too. I'm sure the administration probably has its insight, but I agree in my research in terms of current municipalities across the city of Indiana who does in fact currently have contracts, you can see the difference, right? So for example, the city of South Bend, they had a very narrow scope of work for solar, right? And then like Yorktown, for comparison, theirs was very vague, where it allowed for the provider to really do what their subject matter expertise is in providing ample solutions. And also Bloomington, Indiana was another one that had a great scope of work that allowed for more flexibility for the providers. And so I echo those sentiments, Madam Vice President. Yeah, of course, Mr. Mayor.
So you guys are hitting it right on the head, the reason why we're doing it. Essentially, when it was proposed in the previous administration, there was one provider. There was no RFP process. There was, I believe, it was just selected. There are vendors within that are qualified by the state of Indiana to provide these services that we wanted to open it up to make sure that they're qualified, credible vendors that are certified to do this service. So essentially, to kind of summarize what was just mentioned, we want to use these energy savings or these cost saving measures to help reinvest in our infrastructure for the long term. So hopefully we'll get some very knowledgeable institutions that will be able to help us. I think the difference between some of the other communities is just the complexity and some of the issues in facilities and age infrastructure and facilities that we have in the city of Gary that will be addressed.
And thank you, Mayor. I might should add this to Mayor's point about the providers. For the state of Indiana, you have to enter into a contract with a certified provider. And so right now, as of October the 4th of 2024, the state publishes the list. And so there's about 18 that are certified in the state of Indiana to actually produce this type of initiative for cities and entities and school corporations, because school corporations was also stated in that particular Indiana code across the state of Indiana. And so we do have a great pool, right, of applicants, and I do believe that if their entities could do joint ventures with these particular providers as well for submissions as well. So it's 18 as of October the 4th who are qualified. Okay. So I think that we had a great discussion. Let me check on my girl, Councilman Barnes-Caldwell. You have any questions? We're great. Okay, very good. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to move forward for the vote on this. This is third and final consideration for CPR 2024-14. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell. Yes. Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Latham.
Yes.
Councilman Spencer.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8 yeas and 0 noes, CPR 2024-14 has passed and is so ordered. Thank you, colleagues, for your support. Council pending ordinances and resolutions on second reading.
CPO 2024-62, an ordinance reviewing a special use permit for property located at 3573, 3581 through 83, 3585, and 3595 Broadway, Gary, Indiana, to be used as an automotive sales and service business by petitioner Griselda Flores Montano, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary. Petitioner is Griselda Flores Montana, 3595 Broadway, Gary, Indiana.
Councilman Washington.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for passage of.
Councilman Washington, is there no objections? You can do both 62 and 63
Okay.
together.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Did you need to read it first?
Yes.
Okay.
CPO 2024-63, an ordinance reviewing a special use permit for property located at 2939 West 10th Avenue, Gary, Indiana, to be used as a home daycare by petitioner Betty Cole Cummings, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary. Petitioner is Betty Cole Cummings, 2939 West 10th Avenue, Gary, Indiana.
Thank you. Madam President, I move passage of CPO 2024-62 and CPO 2024-63 with the Planning and Development Committee hearing scheduled for Monday, November 4th at 5:30 p.m. with a public hearing set for Wednesday, November 6th at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Councilman Washington, for the motion. Thank you, Councilman Barnes-Caldwell, for the second. Is there any discussion, colleagues? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell. Yes. Councilwoman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy. Yes. Councilwoman Latham.
Yes.
Councilman Spencer.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Williams. Yes. President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8 yeas and 0 noes, both CPO 2024-62 and CPO 2024-63 has been assigned to Planning and Development with a committee hearing set for Monday, November the 4th at 5:30 p.m. and a public hearing to convene on Wednesday, November the 6th at 6 p.m., both here in the council chambers.
CPO 2024-64, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9604, approving an ARPA spending plan out of public health and negative economic impacts category for medical debt buy-down assistance, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Garrett, Salida Green, City Controller. Continue.
Yes, no objections. I'm going to ask Madam Clerk to do them all together. Okay, very good. Please proceed, Madam Clerk.
CPO 2024-65, an ordinance for the City of Gary, Indiana, and Lake County, Indiana, authorizing additional appropriations for the American Rescue Plan Act, Fund 2487, for medical debt buy-down assistance under public health and negative economic impacts, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller. CPO 2024-66, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9604, approving an ARPA spending plan out revenues lost category for Gary Public Transportation Corporation, matching funds, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller. CPO 2024-67, an ordinance for the City of Gary, Lake County, Indiana, authorizing additional appropriations for the American Rescue Plan Act, Fund 2487, for Gary Public Transportation Corporation under matching funds under revenue loss category, sponsored by Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller. CPO 2024-70, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9604, approving an ARPA spending plan out of public health and negative economic impacts category for a new animal shelter facility, sponsored by Mayor Eddie Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller. And CPO 2024-71, an ordinance of the City of Gary, Lake County, Indiana, authorizing additional appropriations for the American Rescue Plan Act, Fund 2487, for a new animal shelter facility under public health and negative economic impacts category, sponsored by Mayor Eddie D. Melton, City of Gary, Salida Green, City Controller.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilman Barnes Caldwell.
Madam President, the Ways and Means Committee would like passage on the following ordinances: CPO 2464, 65, 66, 67, 70, and 71 on second reading, with a committee meeting scheduled for November the 12th, Monday, at 5:30 p.m., and a committee meeting November, the 19th, the 18th. Nope, the 19th at 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
No. Okay, yes, I'm sorry. Monday, the 12th, November at 5:30, and a committee meeting on the 19th at 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Barnes Caldwell. The motion is for those ordinances to be assigned to Ways and Means Committee, which will be held on Tuesday, November the 12th at 5:30 p.m. to have a public meeting the consecutive Tuesday, which is Tuesday, November the 19th at 6 p.m. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Madam Vice President, for the second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
Councilman Halliburton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy.
Sorry.
Yes.
Councilwoman Latham. Councilman Spencer.
Sam Monday.
Councilman Washington. Councilman Williams. President Atkins.
Yes.
Madam President, the vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8 yeas and 0 noes, CPOs 2024-64, 65, 66, 67, 70, and 71 has been referred to the Ways and Means Committee, with the committee hearing set for Tuesday, November the 12th at 5:30 p.m. and public hearing to take place on Tuesday, November the 19th at 6 p.m., both here in the council chambers.
Madam President, it's pending ordinances and resolutions on second reading.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilman Williams?
Excuse me, everyone, I'm sorry. Madam
President, I would like to discuss the possibilities for a reconsideration, for a vote for Jamal. I have passed information to my colleagues about his consideration for a recount for a vote. During the time we held this vote, he did not have the survey that we requested of him. The survey is quite expensive. He did get the survey completed recently. You all have the packs in front of you with the survey, as well as the improvements of the property that he has done. I would like at this point to see if we can get a reconsideration of the vote so that he could move ahead with his property.
And what is the ordinance number, Councilman?
The ordinance number is, let's see, Empress. I'm sorry, I asked Empress to run a copy of it for me.
Oh, I have it.
You
It's,
have it?
it's CP. It's
2014.
Yeah.
Can I see it? Thanks. It is 2024-20.
So is that your motion? The motion is to reconsider CPO 2024-20?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second?
Second. Now, he also has,
Oh, wait, it's a motion on the floor, Councilman, one second. So it's been moved and properly second by Councilman Halliburton. At this time, we'll do an overview, but we can have discussion at this time. Councilman Williams?
okay, I'm sorry, I left out a few more things. He also has equipped the property with cameras that he is willing to share the feed with the Gary Police Department if anything happens on that Ridge Road corridor, which is something that we are in need of from our merchants at this time. We've had a lot of street poles knocked down. We've had a lot of buildings ran into, and he actually has equipped his building with cameras to help us with that situation if it takes place on Ridge Road. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Williams.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Washington?
did anybody from the administration go out and check the property? Or is anybody from the administration going to come up tonight and speak on this ordinance? Yes.
Chief of Staff Dumas? Oh, okay. Attorney Hayes? Okay, okay.
Sorry about that. Attorney Hayes, again, regarding this, it is our understanding that Jamal Rogers has provided the drawings and that he has provided proof that the property is in order. At this point, he has basically done everything that has been asked of him. He's been towing for a while. He's had a general business license, and he can come up and give a little bit more detail about it. But he has done everything that is asked of him to date. Joel, if you would like to, you may.
Speaking about the general business license, I had a general business license at 5100 block of Broadway, and they told me I had to stop operation because it wasn't zoned for it. So I stopped operation there, and I went and purchased the land on Ridge Road, which used to previously be a salvage yard, junkyard, storage yard for the city of Gary. So I purchased it within thought that I can open back up and do it all over again, but they said it became residential once it's closed down. It wasn't grandfathered in. So I done everything I was needed to do that you all required me to do. You all asked me to get a survey. At the time, Mr. Washington asked for the survey. It was like 2.5 months out, and it was $3,700. And July 2nd, I still hadn't completed the survey, so I done the best that I could on writing down everything, drawing everything out. So now the survey was complete. I texted Mr. Washington. I showed him that I put a black net around it. I cut down the trees in front of it. I've done everything that I can do that was asking me to do for the city of Gary. And anything you all ask me to do, I'm willing to do it within a reasonable time frame.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rogers.
Yes.
I'm going to ask my colleagues, any comments from my colleagues? Vice President Latham.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a question.
Yes.
Are these the before or the
That's before.
after, or the after pictures?
That was midway, because before it was all trees and everything was covered. And when Mr. Washington asked me, the last picture is where the black bonnet, when he asked me about doing the black bonnet, I purchased it the same day, and then the next day I put it on there. No, not a video, but I took a still picture of it. There's new signs up. Those were the old signs that was there from before, the picture you just seen. But the last two pictures on there, it should be in color. Those are the new ones. As of yesterday, that's it.
Are these the photos with the tarp on the gate?
The color one that Miss Ivy have, that is, but I don't know if it's in all the packets or not because the lady.
I think it's like the last 2 pages, but they're real dark. You can't really see them.
Okay, but hers is in color, and it's 2 or 3 of them. Then please, you're more than welcome to look. That was before as well. The last 2 pictures as of today, the last 2 photographs. Ms. Ivy, is it possible you can pass that around? Can I get it and bring it to you? Can I get it and bring it to you?
So the gate is shielded, so you can't see what's on the property?
Correct.
Okay.
I put new signs up as well, so that the picture that she showed was the previous sign from before. That's the new one right there, Ms. Vice President.
So, Vice President Latham, please proceed. You okay? Okay. So, Mr. Rogers, I appreciate your attempt, and I want to echo the sentiments of my colleague, Councilman Williams, who have in fact done a yeoman's job of advocating on your behalf as you are a part of his district. And he believes in your enterprise and your entity. I just wanted to confirm, it was my impression that because of the fact that it was voted down, there should not have been any operations from a towing perspective to that location. Were you operating and towing to a different location since this particular ordinance had been voted down?
Well, I mean, my operation hadn't stopped. You know, I still have a general business license in the city of Gary for 51st and Broadway. So it's still active right now.
Okay. So the towing that has been done within like the last, let's say, 2 weeks, where in fact were those vehicles taken?
Oh, I use both locations. Well, actually, I have 3 locations, but I use all my locations that, you know, whichever one is convenient, whichever one is there.
I got it. So you have 3 different locations that are approved for, well, 2, I would say 2 locations that are currently approved for lots for towing cars. And then this one located at 1325 East 37th Avenue. This is one that is still zoned R2 that you're looking to convert to a different zoning?
Yes.
Okay. What are the other locations?
I have the one with the business license on 51st and Broadway. The other one's at 1400 East 49th Avenue.
Okay, so 1400 East 49th Avenue, that one is in fact a tow yard. I was searching for the word. Is it a tow yard?
Well, actually, that has the salvage license there, so they scrap cars and cut up cars.
Okay, so if in fact a car has been towed by you within the last, let's say, 3 weeks, where did that car go?
The last 3 weeks?
Yes.
Either location, whichever one is closer. Whichever location, like if I'm on Broadway.
So either on 51st and Broadway or on 49th Avenue?
Yes.
Okay.
But pretty much I use, it depends if it's a private tow or somebody call me, needs storage, or it all depends on what type of tow that it is. If somebody call me out the phone book, they need tow from location to location or accident or something.
Okay. So what if somebody was parked at a retail establishment and they were told by your entity, let's say it was September the 28th, where would that car have gone on September the 28th?
It depends on where the location was located at. If they call me and ask for a tow.
Okay.
But right now, I'm contracted out of 3 locations in Maryville for private property on towing cars, out the
Got it.
fire lane, overnight parking,
Okay.
semi-trucks, and regular medium-duty cars.
And then the 2 locations that you're authorized to then transport those vehicles to that are in the tow are on 51st and Broadway or on East 49th Avenue.
Correct.
And those are approved and authorized by the city of Gary to do that type of business.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'm bringing that up because my concern was as if like, why come before us if in fact you were already still towing, respectfully, to the council? Because it was brought to my attention that tows had been happening after the ordinance unfortunately was not supported by the body. And I wanted to, again, because of my colleague had worked so hard to kind of get it back in front of us, just wanted to ensure that the laws of the city were being respected, and there was not an effort to steal tow vehicles to this East 37th Avenue place, regardless and despite the position of the council, since this was reviewed, what was it, back in June, I think it was, or July?
July 2nd.
July, that it was voted down. Okay, so I appreciate you engaging with me to give me clarity that you, in fact, do have 2 other locations that are approved by the city of Gary that have operating business license to do or to house vehicles when, in fact, they are towed.
Correct.
Okay.
Gina Brown, she has my active business license for 2024. Actually, it's in the file.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Any member of the Gary Common Council, any more discussions? Okay, it's been moved and properly second. I'll ask for a roll call at this time. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Caldwell? Councilwoman Caldwell? No. Councilman Halliburton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ivy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Latham?
No.
Councilman Spencer?
Yes.
Councilman Washington? Yes. Councilman Williams?
Yes.
President Atkins?
Abstain.
Madam President, the vote is 5 yes, 2 noes, and 1 abstention.
With 5 yeas, 2 noes, and 1 abstention, CPO 2024-20 has passed and is so ordered. Okay. Okay, that concludes our review of legislation for tonight. I'm going to ask my colleagues if there's any member of the Gary Common Council who have any questions or comments for our city officials. No? Okay. I have one comment to my amazing mayor. I got to butter it up. I am freezing, Mayor. I am. And I'm going to ask our amazing chief of staff on the executive branch of government to give us a quick update. I know that you have been working hard since May on the HVAC system issue on this side of City Hall. If you can just give us a brief update and also for the public too, as we house the public in this great, beautiful chamber in terms of our status and getting it up and running.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Madam President and esteemed council. Again, no excuse, but we deeply apologize. The air unit itself, so dating all the way back when we took office in January, this administration, we were not aware that there was an air issue, but once we were discovered it on that very first hot day that the air was not working, we then began to do a bid for a contract. Some of that historical information was provided to us by the Madam President, and then we began to bid it. Because of the outdated building and our units, we had to have special units built and delivered. They took longer than expected, even what the contractor had even anticipated. Once they arrived, as you can see, these metal things outside of the council chambers are the dividers in the bathroom. The air unit for this particular area is located inside the men's restroom in the ceiling. And so the company was able to finally get them in and install them. I asked a specific question because when I walked in here myself, I said it's freezing, and I contacted our personnel to our superintendent to say, hey, you got to come fix this now. The air is not on, contrary to belief, because it's cold outside. The only thing that's blowing right now is the air handlers. And what I've been advised by the contractor, and I can forward it to Madam President and the council in writing so that you have it, they have to run the air handlers for so long after install just to make sure that we don't void the warranty. And then we can cut it off. We have been reassured that the heat does work, and it worked in January. But we've again apologized that it is very nippy, but I've been advised that the air is not on. It is only the air handlers, the fan, that is running at this time, and because of the temp outside, it makes it appear very cold, like it's the air.
So just give me a date. When are we going to kick on the heat?
So not to see the
Not so hot now.
the superintendent, the building superintendent said we typically try to kick it on once we have, I believe he said, 3 consecutive days of a low temp, because the air is right now, the heat outside, it fluctuates. So even like a few days ago, it was 80 degrees. So he said he tried to wait till we have 3 consecutive days of a low temp before he turns on the heat. We know this building, the majority of the building still runs on a boiler system. So as you know, that boiler system, once you turn it on, there's no quick turn off. It has to cool off on its own, which often throws off the regulation of the building in itself, because it's often compensating for people opening windows and running other type of units. So again, no excuse. Our goal is to not have this problem come this time next year.
Always so thorough, and I sincerely appreciate it. You staff them.
Thank you.
Madam President,
yes.
I think after we pass that budget, it probably get a lot warmer
I'm saying, that's what
in the chambers.
they say. Oh, okay. They keep postponing that budget. I'm gonna show them.
But Madam President, on a serious note, I want to let the mayor know and your administration, I'm willing to work with the administration on legislation this upcoming session, because I believe that you are being cordial and being diplomatic, but I believe that when you come in as mayor, you should have that opportunity to have your own board members to the Gary Airport and the sanitary district. So I would love the opportunity for you to have your appointees there, because I believe, my opinion, that the current board that's there now is not taking direction from the current administration, and that's a no-no. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Washington. Any other colleagues, additional comments? 2 for you, Mayor. I know October the 16th was like a target date for our street light RFP. And if in fact, I think William, I'm give you 2 so we can get on up out of here.
So William
give
will
me
be coming in the next council meeting?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if we can
Yeah.
have him give us the update, since tomorrow is October the 16th. And then also, if you can help coordinate, we can reach out and get the contact, but the business advisory committee or council
Johnson.
that you have,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
did want to in fact give it opportunity to do a presentation at the next council meeting as well.
All right, no, that sounds good.
And if you have anything, Mayor.
I'm going to be real quick. I'm going to try my best to be as quick as possible. And I want to thank everybody, all this body, for passing the things that we got through this evening, especially with the bonus incentives for the employees. And just to kind of piggyback off what Vice President Latham was mentioning, many of the things that you propose are things that we already are working on, exploring in terms of the facility, especially with the fire stations. So the investment, better leveraging, utilizing our federal dollars, CDBG money, to make those investments in those facilities is a priority of our administration, my administration. Next, when it comes down to the police station, we are making specific investments right now to at least make some improvements to the facilities so they can have a more safer, environmentally and conducive working environment there. The objective of some of the blight elimination funding that is part of Senate Bill 434 is going to help do some demolition on that ground of the old St. Mary's Hospital. As we explore, and we have to do a feasibility study as it relates to a new police and fire station. So those are all priorities for the administration, just so you know that aspect of it. we try to package everything up because we cannot do a sustainable raise. So making these improvements to the bathrooms, to the kitchenette areas and our fire stations, the 4 key stations is a priority. Making investment in fire equipment, using some of our federal dollars through CDBG, and also working with our corporate partners to make some purchases that's going to be long overdue. And with the police department, same thing, right? We're trying to make sure that we can help and support them as well, because they protect us every single day. Let me just quickly touch on the Gary Chicago Airport piece. I'm going to thank Councilman Washington. He and I have had some conversations about this, and it is true. Out of 7, I believe, 4, 5, 6, 7 appointments on that board, the governor has 1 appointment, which is automatically the chair. The mayor of Gary is supposed to have 4 appointments, and the Lake County Council commissioners, Lake County Commissioner and the Porter County Commissioners both get 1 appointment. Currently, right now, I've been able to get 1 appointment because I asked someone to step down from the board. They were willing to step down, but I have not been able to make those other 3 appointments yet until those terms expire. So I wanted the public to know that as of right now, this administration doesn't have any immediate, I would say, influence on a day-to-day objective. However, I will say Congressman Visklowski, myself, and the executive director, we have sat down several times to talk specifically about operations, to talk specifically about aviation and the growth and expansion of the potential airport, of this airport. So I just want to make sure that the public knows where we are, and we are eager. We are extremely eager to make sure that we get those appointments so the vision that I have for the airport can thoroughly be implemented. So I appreciate you guys for that. I'm going to stop there, and I just want to say yes. Why you do me like that? I didn't want to laugh. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to say thank you. God bless you guys tonight. What's that?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Madam Vice President.
I did think of one thing, paving for 2025.
Yes. So check this out. This is where I'm excited about this. We got the PACER rating back. So the PACER is the assessment citywide of all of our streets.
And it said the 4th district, all the streets was priority, right?
Well, everyone's going to see the map. So we're encouraging the public to come out October 30th to our community forum. We're going to display every single district and how their roads are graded in terms of from best to worst condition. I was talking to the controller today. We are going to devise a strategy and a plan for a long-term perspective to figure out how do we address all of our roads over a period of time, whether that be a 5-year period, 7-year, and how do we finance that to make sure we can get that done. So let's looking at those objectives. So that's going to be wrapped into the report that our engineer is going to provide at the next council meeting, along with the city streetlights, which the order for the main thoroughfares should be in October 30th, November 1st. That equipment should be in for the contractor to start making those repairs immediately. So that's just kind of a brief summary where we are today.
Mayor, can you state your town hall information?
We're going to be at Indiana University Northwest, I believe, from 5:30 p.m., the Berglund Auditorium, October 30th. We definitely want to invite everyone to come out. The format is going to be similar to what we've done in the past. We're bringing every single department out. Every department will be available for the public to come and specifically address any issues and concerns that we can talk to those department heads and their staff about your concerns, from HR all the way down to from all the way across to general services, the health department, and et cetera. Street department, everyone will be there to address those issues and concerns. And then I will give a more of a mayoral update and kind of forecasting some of the vision and direction for 2025.
Thank you, Mayor Melton. Colleagues, any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn? Thank you, colleagues. Meeting adjourned.